Happy Thursday. I think I'm 1 minute late. Ooh. So why was I 1 minute late? Did you guys feel that? You must have. About 10 minutes ago, there was a pretty big earthquake. Did you feel it? This whole building was shaking. Boom. Pretty wild. So my heart's still beating kind of quick. That was intense. I hope you guys are okay, feeling well. So welcome everybody. Happy Thursday. It is, well, we're working on lesson 9, conversation 1 today. And so I'll give everybody a minute to join in. But what are we looking at today? We're looking at our positive personality and how this person deals with this situation. So our situation is that you've been going to the gym and exercising. And you're starting to get better. So you post a picture on the internet and you're hoping that some of your friends say something nice to you, give you some nice comments. And then one of your friends responds to you and says, wow, you look great, but I'm getting fat. But their picture, looks amazing. Wow. And how do you react to that? Well, this time you have a positive personality. You're feeling good and you say, wow, you look great, which is, if you're talking about how someone looks, keep it general and say, you look great, you look awesome, something like that. And then you decide, hey, this person looks kind of like a dancer. They have a dancer's figure. And you say, I'm going to dance too. So you and your friend Jenny decide, hey, let's join a dance competition and go nuts, have some fun, enjoy ourselves. And then we go on an adventure. Jenny feels nervous. She gets butterflies in her stomach. Oh my gosh, I'm a little bit scared. And then you help remind her about the entire routine. So you say, let's stick to the game plan, no problem. And so you take the lead and you tell Jenny what to do. Okay, do some ballet. And then Jenny will tap dance. And then what will you do? You'll break dance at center stage, spin around on the floor, and do the robot. And then Jenny does some Irish step dancing where your arms are straight, your legs are going like crazy, and then fireworks everywhere, and it's going to be an amazing show. You're feeling really confident, feel pretty good, and maybe the judges will like it. What do you think? So, this is our story, this is our situation, and through this, we learned a few different ideas. We learned about different ways to talk about groups of things, right? The groups of dancers or groups of friends, all the, most of the, a few of the, some of the, things like that. And then we learned about talking about everything together. We take one thing and talk about it all at the same time, or many things and talk about them together using the whole, the entire, or all of the. And then we talked about phrases like usually, on the whole, in general, and those are talking about what usually happens, what happens most of the time, what is a common thing. But then phrases like on the whole or overall means like you're thinking of the whole thing together, okay? So these phrases, maybe before you got them mixed up, hopefully now you can feel how are they different, okay? Let's start with lesson 9, conversation 1, part 2. Whew, we're already in lesson 9. We only have one we have lesson 9 to go, and then we have lesson 10, and that's it for our course. We're on the home stretch. We're getting close to the end. Ooh, shocking, right? So, in lesson 9, conversation 1, part 2, we're talking about things in groups, people in groups, and things in groups. And so, our first sentence is 大部分的人都追求成功. So, this is true. Most people seek success. So most people seek success. Here the word most means more than half, right? Not all people. There are a few people who just want to relax. But most people seek success. They want to do something good. And another way to say this would be most people pursue success. Now, let's start by talking about seek and pursue. Seek and pursue are both words that mean you're looking for something, right? I'm seeking something. And then, well, seeking is like looking for it. Pursuing is like you're chasing it. But when we talk about success, there's no real good reason for this, but seek is more common with success. We seek success. You can say pursue success, but seek success is a little bit more common, okay? So most people seek success. Then, at the beginning, we said most people. So I did see some students use of, like most of the people. But do we know who we're talking about? Well, we're talking about everyone in the world. We're talking about in general. And if you're talking about all people in general, just around the world, you don't need the word of. So most people. If you say most of the people, you need to be more specific. Where? Which people? You could say most of the people in Taiwan, most of the people in America. You could say most of the people in the world. You're being specific to all the people in the world. That would be okay. But there aren't many people away from Earth, right? Only a couple in space. And so you can just say most people to talk about more than half of all people in the universe, right? Most people seek success. Okay, our second sentence is connected to the first, right? 大部分的人都追求成功. And then you could say, 但很少人知道要怎样才算成功. So we have our first idea, and then this is something different, right? So you could say, however, only a few of them know what counts as success. So, however, only a few of them know what counts as success. And then there's another way to say this that we haven't actually learned yet, but we're going to learn in a little while. However, few of them know what success is. So many of you used a few of them. But this would actually be better with the word only a few of them, or few of them without the word a. So this was a little bit tricky, and sorry to trick you guys, but if you say a few of them know what counts as success, this is saying that some of them, maybe a small number, but you're focusing on, yes, they do know. But we're trying to focus on that it's not many people, right? And so we can add the word only. Only a few of them know it counts as success. And adding that word only means that, like, hey, we have most people, but only a few, a very small number. So we're focused on that it's really small. And if we want to focus on it being really small, you could just say few of them. Few of them focuses on that it's a bad thing. It's negative, meaning not much. Okay? We'll talk more about that in the future. So if you said a few of them know what counts as success, that's okay. But it's a little bit better if you add the word only or take away the word a. Few of them. Okay? And then also, why do I use the word however? Well, some of you use the word but it's not great in writing to start a sentence with the word but. In spoken English, it's okay to start a sentence with but. In writing, you should start with however. If it's but, you need a comma and then the word but. So, however means the same thing, but it's better writing skills. But don't worry about it, okay? And so the second part, only a few of them know what counts as success. So they know something, and we can use a noun clause. A few of them know what counts as success. That phrase is like a question, but it acts as a noun, okay? Another way you could say this is a few of them know what success is. So that would be okay too. Success is the subject, is the verb, what is the object, actually. So yeah, that's what you need to be careful about. A few of you got the like know what blah blah blah, but I saw a few people say only a few people know what is success. But what is success is a question in a noun clause, like a group of words acting like a noun. You have to flip those two words around and say what is know what success is. What success is can act like a noun, but what is success, that's just a question. So flip the words around, put the is at the end. It looks strange, but it's actually correct, okay? And then I also saw someone say, only a few people know how to define success. Very good. Define is like to give a name for it, explain what it means. So that's a good way to write it too. I use counts as. Counts as, it's very similar to the Chinese, like 算. So counts as. And so you can, counts as is kind of like equals to. So you can think of that. So that might be a phrase you can use in the future. Okay. Next up we have 很多20-30岁的人对人生感到迷惘. Okay. So many people in their 20s and 30s feel lost in life. Or you could say many people in their 20s and 30s feel confused about their lives. That would be okay too. So lost in life is a phrase that you guys could use, meaning like you're in your life and you're lost. You don't know where to go. This is pretty similar to the word in Chinese, right? You're lost. You don't know where to go. 迷惘 is a little bit like 迷路. You don't know where to go. You're lost, right? So many people in their 20s and 30s feel lost in life. Okay? So I use the phrase many because remember, most people means more than half. So the majority, maybe there's 100% and 80% are lost in life if you use the word most. That's a lot. But it might be less than 50%, but still kind of a lot of people. So you could use the word many. We're not saying what percentage, we're just saying more than a few. Many people, okay? We don't know if it's most or less than half. We don't know, but many, okay? Many people in their 20s and 30s. And when we're talking about these groups of people, it's common to say people in their blah, blah, blahs. So maybe you're talking about my parents. You could say, well, people in their 60s, blah, 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 blah. Or your children, kids in their teens, something like that. So we use a noun for the people, and then in their, and then the years of their life. So people in their 20s and 30s, okay? So a few of you use 20s and 30s by themselves, like many 20s and 30s. That's not very common. So don't do that. And then I saw many 20, 30 years people. You could say something similar to that. You could say many 20 and 30-year-old people are blah, blah, blah. But it's most common, if we're talking about these groups, saying people in their 20s and 30s. So remember, you can talk about yourself, saying like, oh, I'm in my 30s, or he's in his 50s, something like that, okay? And then, excuse me, itchy. The last part is they feel lost in life, or they're confused about their lives, okay? I don't think anybody had a big problem with that, so that's okay. Next up we have 有位知名的美国艺术家说，走得多慢都无所谓，只要你不停下脚步。So this is from an artist named Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was an artist a long time ago, but he's really well known in the United States. And some of his art is a little bit weird, but very popular anyways. So one famous American artist said, "It does not matter how slowly you go, so long as you do not stop." And here for a quote, you know that the native language for the quote was English, so hopefully you tried to Google what the actual quote was. For a quote from someone, if it's in English, you should try to find the quote and just copy it. Don't try to translate it by yourself. Well, you could, but we want the real words that came out of their mouth. So if they spoke English, you want the actual words they said if you want to quote it. If you want to use quotation marks, it has to be the exact words. If you want to try translating it yourself, don't use quotation marks. You could say, oh, he said blah, 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 but not with the quotes, okay? So, one famous American artist. So here, we're just using simple one, okay? We don't need the word of the, because we're not talking about a certain group of artists. We're talking about all artists. You're just saying one famous American artist. You could also say a famous American artist. So this one was a little bit tricky because you don't need to think that hard. Don't make it overcomplicated. Keep it simple. Remember, you can just use the word one by itself. Okay? One famous American artist. And why do I choose that order? So I did see someone say one American famous artist. So American famous artist. Now that feels kind of weird. Now why does it feel weird? It's hard to say. There's an order of adjectives that you should try to follow. And part of it is just you have to get used to it. You get used to the feel of something. But there's an order for adjectives that we follow. And usually for native speakers, we don't think about it, but it just feels natural, feels right, okay? Like a big yellow bus. You would not say a yellow big bus. You'd say a big yellow bus. Why? Good question. But there's something called osash.com. So I'll put it in the chat. So you could search the order of adjectives, but you can pretend that the order is like a website. You can remember the phrase osash.com, and that can help you remember the order. Oh, don't actually go to that link. Don't click that link. You can think of it like it's a website, but don't actually go to that website. It's OSASH, opinion, size, age, shape, and then color, origin, material. osash.com. Opinion, size, age, shape, OSASH, color, origin, material, com. So if you can remember that order, you can do it in your head. osash.com, okay. So look up order of adjectives, try searching osash.com, and you can find a little guide. Okay. And then, let's see. So a famous American artist. So that would be the, whatever. And then you could say he said something because it was in the past, right? So I saw a couple people say says. One famous artist says, but he said it one time, so it should be in the past tense. And then it does not matter how slowly you go, so long as you do not stop. Meaning like, yeah, it's okay if you take your time, work slowly, but keep on moving. Don't give up. Don't quit. Okay? And so that can apply to lots of different things. So let's keep on moving on to lesson 9, conversation 1, part 3. Okay? And now we're talking about all, the whole, the entire. And so we can use these pretty similarly, right? We can often use them in the same way. The whole is the most common. Entire is pretty common too. And then all my blah, 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 or all of my, you hear it all the time too. Okay? So it's kind of up to you which one you choose depending on the situation. Okay, our first sentence is 我花了一辈子在寻找懂我的人. So I've spent all my life looking for someone who understands me. Okay? I've spent all my life doing what? Looking for someone. What kind of someone? Who understands me. So piece by piece by piece. Okay? And so here the verb is I have spent. This is the present perfect tense. And because that's in your life, from the beginning of your life up till now, right? And then I've spent all my life. You could also say I've spent my whole life or I've spent my entire life. They're all the same. Don't worry about it. Okay? And you've spent this time doing something. I've spent all my life looking for someone who understands me. Okay. So looking for is the verb you want. Looking for means you're searching for that person. Some of you use the word finding. Finding is the moment when you see it and you get it. Like you look for something and you find it. Wow, I found it. Okay? So be careful of the difference. Usually you want to use looking for instead of finding. If you say, I was finding my watch, that means you found it. But I was looking for my watch is focusing on the search. Okay? So we want to use looking for. So looking for who? Looking for someone. And then we want to use a noun clause to describe someone. Someone who understands me. Okay? Who is the subject? Then verb understands. Who do they understand? Me. So someone who understands me is the best answer there. I saw someone understanding me. ING suggests that it keeps on going, right? It's happening. So someone understanding me, it doesn't work perfectly here. So someone who understands me, we want to describe that someone, okay? It's not always perfect to shorten that phrase, okay? And then I saw someone reads my mind. Well, you want to add the word who. Someone who reads my mind. But reads my mind means they know what I'm thinking all the time. So that's a little bit different. So someone who understands me, maybe they love me, they care about me, they understand what I like, what I don't like. Someone who reads my mind, they know what I'm thinking all the time, which could be good, could be bad. So it's a little bit different, okay? I also saw someone use the one. I'm looking for the one who understands me. I think it's better to use someone. Someone means a person, but we don't know who yet. The one suggests that you do know who it is, because the means we know about it a little bit. Okay? I saw Jean's comment. Why did it say so long as, not as long as? This is talking about that artist quote. One famous American artist said, it does not matter how slowly you go, so long as you do not stop. Now, why does he say so long as instead of as long as? Well, they're completely the same. As long as and so long as mean the same thing. As long as is a little more common, but because we're quoting what someone actually said, we want to use the words he used. So long as mean the same thing, but he said so long as. So we want to write that, okay? So don't worry about the difference. They mean the same thing. Next up is lesson 9, conversation 1, part 3, sentence number 2. 如果你在找真命天子或真命天女，你不应该一整天在家玩动物森友会吧。So this game is on Nintendo Switch. I haven't played it, but I know a lot of people love it. It's called Animal Crossing. Okay. So we could write this as, if you're looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right, you shouldn't spend the entire day at home playing Animal Crossing. Yeah, don't do that. Get out there, meet somebody. Another way to say this would be, if you're looking for a match made in heaven. So this was my first idea. Match made in heaven in Chinese could also be like 天生一对. So people are perfect for each other. A match made in heaven. Wow, they're perfect for each other. So Mr. or Mrs. Right, a match made in heaven. You could think of it two different ways. And Mr. or Mrs. Right, you can use this phrase when you're talking to people in general. So you're telling everybody, you're not talking to one person, you're telling everybody. And so you're giving them a choice, Mr. or Mrs. And then a match made in heaven. Match means a romantic match. Heaven is up there in the sky. So match made in heaven. I also saw someone say, if you're looking for the perfect one or the perfect match, those would be okay too. Sure. If you're looking for the perfect one for you, you might want to add that. Okay? So you shouldn't spend the entire day at home playing Animal Crossing. So you could say the entire day or the whole day or all day. Both are all three are fine because they mean basically the same thing, right? The entire day, the whole day, all day. And it depends on the person speaking. I use the word entire pretty often. Other people use the word whole a lot, okay? So it depends on who you're talking to, okay? And then you shouldn't spend the entire day. You could also say you shouldn't have spent the entire day at home. It sounds like you're talking about one time, right? Shouldn't spend the entire day means in general, you shouldn't have spent, talking about one specific day, okay? And then the game is called Animal Crossing. It's the title, so don't put the word the. I saw someone say the Animal Crossing. No the, okay? And then I saw someone say playing Nintendo Switch. Well, Nintendo Switch is the video game console. The game is called Animal Crossing. Okay. And then you shouldn't spend the entire day. I did see someone say you're not supposed to spend the entire day at home. You're not supposed to sounds like other people think you shouldn't do this, meaning like everybody thinks you shouldn't do this. In this situation, I think shouldn't is better than you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to sounds like you did something bad that other people expect you to do better. Like, oh, you shouldn't skip work on a Monday, right? Okay? You're not supposed to do that because it's a bad thing. Other people are expecting you to be at work, okay? So, one more thing. You shouldn't spend the entire day at home playing Animal Crossing. So spend the entire day doing something, okay? I saw someone write, you shouldn't stay home the whole day and play Animal Crossing. That's okay, but it's a little bit different. It's saying you shouldn't do these two things, but we're spending the day doing the playing, so we can have it linked together, okay? You shouldn't spend the day playing Animal Crossing. They're connected one to the other, okay? Keep on going. 自从见到真理，它就占据了我整个心思. So this is an interesting sentence, right? And ever since I saw Jenny, she's occupied my whole mind. Now, this is a close translation to the Chinese. she's occupied my mind, or she's occupied my whole mind. Okay? So someone can occupy your mind. It's not super common to say occupied my whole mind. You could say that, but it's not super common. That's kind of close to the Chinese. But another way to say this that's a more common way to say it is they're stuck in your mind. They're occupying your mind. You could say, ever since I saw Jenny, I think about her all the time. You could also say, ever since I saw Jenny, she's always on my mind. Okay? So I'm thinking about her all the time. Oh, Jenny. So this is a romantic story, right? So we start with ever since I met Jenny. Oop. Or ever since I saw Jenny. Both are okay. Whatever. And why do we use ever since? Many of you use just the word since, but ever since is focusing on that it started at that time and never stopped. So since means it started from then and then continued, but ever since means that it makes it even stronger. That like, wow, I can't forget that girl. Okay? So ever since I met her, ever since I saw her, ever since I came across Jenny, or ever since I met Jenny. So all of these are okay. And then she's occupied my whole mind. I think about her all the time. She's always on my mind. Okay? I also saw someone say, she's been in my heart. That's okay too. Boom, boom, doki, doki. Okay? But if it's someone in your mind, we say they occupy your mind. Occupy is like they live there. Okay? I saw someone say she's taken up my mind. Taken up my mind sounds like they're taking up space. Taking up space means they're filling that space, but it sounds kind of like a bad thing. So if she's taken up my mind, maybe she's in there, but you want to get her out. Okay? Okay. Next up. 因为晚上没有睡好，我整堂课都在打瞌睡. Since I didn't sleep well last night, I kept dozing off the whole class. Oh no, I hope that's not happening now. So, dozing off means you're going like this. Oh. Has this ever happened to you? I've taken some really boring classes. When I was in college, there were a few classes where, oh God, the professor's voice just puts everyone to sleep. Today we're learning about the, and you just like, oh. But here we're saying, since I didn't sleep well last night, I kept dozing off the whole class. So you're trying to stay awake, but you're having trouble. Okay? So I started with the word since. You could start with the word because. Since and because both mean we're finding the reason for something, right? Okay? And since and because are very similar, but since means the second part is more important. Okay? So since I didn't sleep well last night, I use past tense because it's over, right? And then I did see someone use past perfect tense. Since I hadn't slept well last night, I kept dozing off the whole class. That's okay too. Past perfect emphasizes that one thing happened before another thing in the past. That's totally fine, but you can just use past tense sometimes, okay? Also, since I couldn't sleep well last night, that's totally fine too. You didn't have the ability to. You couldn't, okay? And then I said last night because I'm imagining I'm telling you this today. I had the class today. I didn't sleep well last night. So I said last night. I saw someone say the night before. But that would suggest that the class you're talking about was also not today. Maybe the class was 2 days ago and the night before was the night before that. But if we're talking about a class today, you can just say last night. Okay? So I kept dozing off. Kept meaning again and again. Dozing off is woo. Okay? And then you could also say, I kept nodding off. If you doze off, what happens to your head? Your head nods, right? So that's called nodding off. Okay? And we're saying, I kept nodding off because it happens again and again. So I saw people say, I dozed off. That would suggest it happened one time. Or I also saw, I've been nodding off the whole class. If you say, I've been nodding off the whole class, that means it started before but continued till now. What does that mean? That means you're still in class. So you're talking to your friend in the class with you. It's like, oh, I've been nodding off the whole class. So that if you use present perfect continuous like that, I've been nodding off, that means you're still there. Okay? And then last but not least, we had the whole class. You could also say the entire class or all the class. All three are totally fine. They mean basically the same thing. So don't get too mixed up about what should I use? Should I use this? Should I use that? Remember, these are tools to use. It's okay. Sometimes words, more than one word can mean almost the same thing. Okay? Now, keep on moving. Let's go on to Lesson 9, Conversation 1, Part 4. And here, we're talking about on the whole, all in all things considered, overall, generally, in general, typically, normally, usually, frequently. Oh, lots of different words that all have pretty similar meanings. Okay? So you can think of these as two groups. We can have the overall group, meaning like talking about all of it together. Overall, all in all things considered, on the whole. All of these mean you take the whole situation together. And then we have the usually group. Usually, generally, in general, as usual, typically, normally. All of these almost mean usually. They're all very similar, like most of the time. So you can think of these as two groups. Now, in each group, there's small differences, but you can keep them mostly in these two groups and think, okay, these all mean most of the time, usually, generally, frequently, blah, 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 blah. These pretty much mean most of the time. Then on the whole, all in all blah, 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 all of those mean I'm thinking of a whole situation. So you can get very specific about the small differences, but you can think of them in these two big groups, okay? That might make things easier if you ever get lost. Oh, wait. Typically, normally, generally, what's the difference? There is a difference, but don't worry too much, okay? Okay, so our first sentence is 虽然导游差点把我们忘在景点，但整体来说，这场旅途很愉快。Wow. We had a problem, but whatever. Things were good. Although our guide almost left us behind at a tourist attraction, the trip was really fun on the whole. So here we have the phrase on the whole. You're thinking of the whole situation, the whole experience. Yeah, there were a couple problems, maybe one or two, but the whole thing, when you look at everything together, it was good. Maybe not perfect, but everything together was good. So although our guide almost left us behind at a tourist attraction, the trip was really fun on the whole. So I said our guide. Now, you could always say our tour guide, of course. So guide is on a tour, our tour guide. But you don't need the word tour because I'm already talking to you about my vacation. If we're in a conversation, you already know I'm talking about a tour. Oh, I was on a tour. Our tour guide. You can just say guide, okay? Although our guide, blah, 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 blah. So you could say our tour guide. You could also say the tour guide, but using the means that the person you're talking to already knows who you're talking about, although the tour guide almost left us behind. That means I already mentioned this person. Remember, the is not the first time you talk about a person, okay? So it's better if you say our guide or our tour guide, okay? And I did see someone say our tourist guide, but we're using the word tour to describe guide, so tour guide. They are the guide of our tour, not our tourist guide. That would mean a guide of our tourist. Hey, look at this tourist. Look at this person going on a trip. No, it doesn't work that way. So our tour guide, okay? And then what did he do? He almost left us behind. So a few of you said almost left us, okay? But you want to add the word behind, meaning that he was going to leave and you were behind at that place. Like he went away and you were behind him. So left us behind is better, okay? So this should be in the past tense, almost left us or left us behind, okay? I saw someone say was nearly leaving us. But that suggests that it was happening and then something else happened. So we're only talking about one event. You use past continuous to talk about two things together. Something was happening and then something else happened. But here we're only talking about one thing, okay? One action. Okay. Getting so complicated sometimes. I also saw someone say almost left at a tourist attraction. Remember, we need to know who he left. He almost left us, okay? And then where did he almost leave us behind? At a tourist attraction. So 景点, you can write it as a tourist attraction or just attraction, okay? Another way you could say is tourist spot, okay? But tourist attraction is the most common. I saw someone use the word viewpoint. Viewpoint is what you mean is a place where you can see a view, right? But we don't often use that word when we're traveling. Viewpoint is often the way someone thinks of something. My viewpoint is to talk about my opinion, okay? So better to say a tourist attraction when talking about this trip, okay? But then, don't worry about that. Although the trip was really fun on the whole, okay? So the trip means vacation, and it was really fun. Keep it simple, just say really fun, okay? And we've learned before, using really is more common than very. The trip was really fun. Don't say the trip was very fun. You could, but really is better, okay? And on the whole, meaning the whole thing together, right? You could write this many different ways. I said the trip was really fun. You could say, I really enjoyed the trip, or the trip was really good. I did see someone say the trip was happy. This one, not quite right. So a trip cannot be happy. You would say, I was happy on the trip. So happy is a word describing people, okay? Not the trip, okay? So you describe the trip and say the trip was fun. I was happy, okay? I saw someone use the trip was pleasant. Now, pleasant is good, but it's not good enough to sound fun. Pleasant means like, oh, that's okay. It's kind of nice. Like if you drink tea, that's pleasant. Pleasant means it's a little bit good, but we want to say the trip was really fun. It was great. So pleasant is just like, yeah, it was kind of nice, but really fun means wow, okay? So pleasant is not quite strong enough. And then, like we said before, there's this group of phrases, on the whole, meaning you're talking about it all together. So you could say, on the whole, you could say, overall, whatever. The trip was really fun overall. The trip was really fun on the whole. Or you could say, oh, you should not say the entire trip was fun. If you say the entire trip was fun, that means it's perfect. The whole trip was fun. Nothing was wrong. But we're using phrases like overall and on the whole, meaning there are small problems, but we're ignoring those, okay? So remember the difference. Entire means all of it together. On the whole means maybe 90% was good, okay? Next. 通常 Dylan 不会在会议中发表意见，但他今天说个不停。Dylan is just going crazy, blah, 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 blah. So Dylan doesn't normally speak up during meetings, but he wouldn't stop talking today. So this is using simple phrases and words. Keep it simple. If you want to use stronger words, more formal writing, you could say, Dylan doesn't usually express his opinions during meetings, but he wouldn't stop talking today. Or if you want to change this wouldn't stop talking to a little bit funny or joking about Dylan, you could say he wouldn't shut up today. So Dylan doesn't normally speak up during meetings. Speak up is a phrase that someone is speaking up, meaning they're saying, hey, I have something to say. So express his opinions. That's good, but it sounds kind of formal. Day to day, we would just say speak up, meaning like, hey, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to add my voice to the conversation, okay? Instead of being quiet and down and quiet, you want to speak up, okay? So speak up is a good phrase to know, meaning like you join in, add something, okay? And then I use the word normally because this is what's normal. This is the thing that usually happens, but using normally suggests something is different this time. He normally doesn't speak up, but now, blah, 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 okay? You could also use in general, usually, or typically. Like I said before, all of these words and phrases are very similar, but normally suggests that today something's different, a little bit strange, okay? And so, he doesn't normally speak up. He doesn't normally express his opinion. I saw someone say he doesn't normally show his opinions, but show is using your eyes to see it, right? But we want to focus that he's using words. He doesn't say what he's thinking, or he doesn't express his opinions, okay? With the word opinions, we usually use the verb express opinions, okay? And remember, this is happening again and again. He doesn't normally speak up, so we want to say during meetings, because this happens a lot. So I saw someone say during the meeting, but the meeting means one, right? But if we're talking about what's normal, we're talking about many meetings, okay? And then the last part, he wouldn't stop talking. Or you could say he kept talking, okay? So I'm focusing on a little bit the negative. He wouldn't stop talking. Maybe people are trying to get him to quiet down. Hey, that's enough. Or he wouldn't shut up. He just, hey, please stop talking. And you just go, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So Dylan's going crazy today. Oh, geez. Let's keep on moving. Sentence number 3. 一般来说，珍妮不会因为 Bob 迟到而生气，只要他有好好道歉。Okay? In general, Jenny doesn't get mad when Bob is late, as long as he apologizes. Okay? In general. So this is usually what's true, most of the time. And using in general means it's the common thing to happen. In general, Jenny doesn't get mad when Bob is late, as long as he apologizes. Okay? So in general or generally would be good here. And you could use usually or typically, but we're focusing on the common situation. We're not talking about time now. We're talking about what is common. So general is a little bit better. Like I said before, they're very similar, but one can be slightly better than the other, okay? And so you could say she doesn't get mad or she doesn't get angry. It means the same thing. She doesn't get mad when Bob is late. So I use the word when because when this happens, at that time of it happening, what happens? So she doesn't get mad when he is late, right? You could say this another way. She doesn't get mad at Bob for being late. Being late is what happens, the situation, and you're saying she's not mad at him for being late, okay? Both are similar. Using when focuses on the action. Bob is late. That happens, okay? So you could say, doesn't get mad at Bob for being late or at Bob being late. Both are okay. I like using when, though. It seems a little smoother. Jenny doesn't get mad when Bob is late as long as he apologizes. And then as long as means like this is the condition. He needs to do this, and then she won't get angry, as long as he apologizes, okay? And apologizes is the same as saying sorry. Oh, sorry, okay? Some of you added the word sincerely, as long as he apologizes sincerely or he apologizes properly. That's using the phrase 好好道歉. But in English, we don't really need to say sincerely or properly. Just say apologizes. And, well, say sorry. You might want to say sincerely say sorry. Because saying sorry could be like fake or not much. Like, oh, sorry. But apologize sounds more serious than sorry. So you could say, as long as he apologizes. And then you don't need that word sincerely, okay? Another student flipped around the sentence, and that's okay too. If Bob is late, Jenny won't get angry if Bob apologizes. Something like that. It was something similar to that. You could change this around and make it an if sentence too. So, very flexible, do what you want, okay? Next up is 整体来说，你的简报很流畅。大部分时候，听众都在点头和做笔记。そうですか。そうですね。So, all in all, your presentation went smoothly. Most of the time, the audience was nodding and taking notes. Hey, wow, great. So, all in all, of course, like we said before, there's this group of phrases. All in all, on the whole, all things considered, whatever. Overall, put it all together, they mean basically the same thing. All in all, you could say on the whole. That's fine too. Or overall, your presentation went smoothly. So if you chose any of those, you're in the clear. Everything's good. So your presentation went smoothly. This part, a couple people had some trouble. So presentation means that action where you're telling people about stuff, and a presentation goes a certain way. We use the verb go for like a presentation or a show or some kind of activity that we're watching, okay? And goes is an action, so we want to use an adverb to describe how it went, the way it went. So your presentation went smoothly with ly, okay? Smoothly is describing how it went, okay? Not describing the presentation. So your presentation went smoothly, okay? So we want to use the phrase smoothly for how it went. So we talk about things going smoothly, meaning the process went well, there were no problems. But we're not describing the presentation. So a few of you said you gave a smooth presentation or your presentation was smooth. It's okay. It's not bad. You could say that presentation was smooth, but it sounds better if we say it went smoothly. We're focusing on how it went, the process of presenting it. maybe everything, the movement of you getting on stage, talking, and the way things go. So that's kind of a tricky thing, but when we're describing a process or an event or an action, use smoothly the adverb, describing how things happened, okay? Next was, most of the time, the audience was nodding and taking notes. So most of the time means more than half of the time, right? Most of the time. And we use of the time because we're being specific to the time during your presentation. Most of the time, okay? And the audience was nodding and taking notes. So the audience means the whole group. And you can talk about the whole group together, just the audience. If you're talking about them as a group, talk about them as one. So the verb is singular. The audience was nodding, okay? I saw someone use audience members. That's okay too. You're talking about all of the people one by one. The audience members, but now it's many people, the audience members were nodding and taking notes. So be careful if you're talking about the audience as one group, use was. If it's one by one, the audience members, use were, okay? I also saw someone use the phrase, the listeners. Now, if it's a presentation, in English, we would say the audience, because I'm imagining that they're watching and listening at the same time. Using listeners in Chinese might be okay, but in English, it sounds like they're only listening. So listeners might be people listening to a radio show, or listening to a podcast, or listening to music, okay? But if we're at a show, a presentation, you'd say the audience, people who are watching and listening, okay? So the audience was nodding, the audience members were nodding, okay? So doing this. I saw someone say they agreed with you. Well, we don't know that exactly. If they agreed with you, that means they think the same way as you. Nodding doesn't exactly mean that, right? So nodding means, oh, I get it. Okay, I understand. It's not exactly the same as agreed with. Agreed with means you have an opinion, someone has the same opinion. Okay. Next. Let's move on to our dialogue. So this is where you and Jenny decide to join a dance competition. And you get out there and you want to dance. And you say, Jenny, go do some ballet. Woo! And tap dance on the table. Da-da-da-da. Wow. And then you're going to break dance. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And then do the robot. A wild show. And then Jenny's going to Irish step dance in the aisles. Have you ever seen Irish step dancing? It's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. Arms straight, body's not moving, but their legs are going crazy. And then you're going to belly dance on the stage. Oh, wow. So we learned a lot of different phrases about dance, about putting on a show, and we learned a few phrases about how to talk about groups of people. Oh, this group of dancers. Oh, our show. Our entire show, our entire choreography, right? You can talk about things as groups or all of it together, right? And so all of the judges probably loved your show, okay? So our first sentence for this one, this is Lesson 9, Conversation 1, Part 5, okay? 这部电影整体评价很高. So we're talking about a movie, a different kind of show, right? So I would write this as, this movie's reviews are good overall. So when we're talking about movies, we usually use the word review as a noun. This movie's reviews are good overall. Or you could say, the movie is highly rated overall. That's okay, but it sounds a little more formal. Or you could also say, the movie got excellent reviews overall. That's good too. So that last one I stole from a student because it was perfect, okay? So this movie's reviews are good overall. the movie is highly rated overall, a little formal, or the movie got excellent reviews overall. Good, okay? So reviews means someone writes about the movie and says if it's good or bad. So someone writes a review. We're looking at all of the reviews and saying most of them are good. The reviews are good overall. So reviews are things, and so we use are good overall, describing those reviews, okay? And then you could use the word rating. The movie's ratings are high, or the movie's ratings are good, but rating we don't often use for movies. So usually we use the word reviews, okay? You could say it has a good rating, but usually we talk about the reviews. You could say, describe the movie and say the movie is highly rated, okay? So you could say good ratings or highly rated. We don't say has a high rating very often. It's okay, but it's not super common, okay? And then let's see. We use overall, meaning, hey, maybe there are 5 or 10 people who say they don't like it, but 100 people say it's great. So overall, the ratings are really good. The reviews are really good, okay? Be careful though. I saw someone say the whole movie is highly rated. That means all of the movie is good. Now that is probably not true. There might be a few moments that are not great, right? If you say the whole movie is great, that means from the beginning to the end, it's perfect, it's amazing, okay? But we want to say the movie's reviews are good overall, meaning most of the reviews, okay? Okay, and then we heard about the movie. The movie premiered. It came out, it was released, and what did you hear? 听说电影播放结束时，全部观众都在鼓掌。Oh, wow, amazing. If people in the theater are clapping, it must be good, right? I heard that when the movie ended, the whole audience was applauding. Wow, everybody was applauding. So I heard that when the movie ended, the whole audience was applauding. Now, you could flip this around and put the when part at the end. So that just changes the focus of the sentence, okay? I heard that the whole audience was applauding when the movie ended. So, wow, okay? Both are okay. Now, we have 2 things that happen. One thing happened, and then people continued to do something. So when the movie ended, that happens one time in the past, so past tense. When the movie ended. And then at that time, what was happening and continuing to happen? The whole audience was applauding. So you can use past continuance because they're applauding for a long time. Like, okay? So the whole audience was applauding, okay? You could just use simple past tense. You could say, when the movie ended, the whole audience applauded. That's okay too. But you can use the ing to mean it kept on going, okay? So I said the whole audience, meaning take that group and talk about that group together. All of them, the whole group, okay? The whole audience was applauding, okay? You could also say all of the audience members were applauding. Now notice, the whole audience was applauding. It's one group as one thing. All of the audience members, one by one, many people, were applauding, okay? So if you talk about it as a group, it's one thing. If you talk about them one by one, all of these people, it's many. So you need plural, okay? So you could say the whole audience, all of the audience members, all the audience members, or all of the audience. All 3 are right. But depending, are you talking about the audience or audience members? Think of singular or plural, one or many, okay? Next up. Last but not least, we have 我有个朋友说他进电影院看了3遍。Wow, that must be a really good movie. Have you ever seen a movie in the theater 3 times? I have. My favorite movie, well, at the time, my favorite movie was called Garden State. It came out when I was in college. And I saw that in the theater maybe 3 times. Probably 3 times. Maybe 4. Oh, it was really, really good. Check it out, Garden State. So, 我有个朋友说他进电影院看了3遍. Wow, must be good. So, one of my friends said he went to see it 3 times. Wow, must be good. Now, you could add the phrase in the theater. One of my friends said he went to see it 3 times in the theater. But you don't need that because went to see it means he left his house to go to see it. And you know that means at a movie theater, okay? So he went to see it. So it meaning this movie. Because we've already been talking about this movie, you can use it, okay? He went to see it 3 times, okay? By using past tense, went, we're talking about it happened before and it's over, okay? I saw people use present perfect. He has seen the movie 3 times. That is focusing on from then until now, in continuing in his experience. He has seen the movie 3 times. That's okay, that's good. That could suggest he might see it again too, right? Okay? You could also use saw. Just keep it simple. He saw the movie 3 times, okay? But if you add went, it suggests that you go out to that place. He went to see it, okay? I did see someone say he had gone to see it. Now that's the past perfect tense. Something happened before something else. Now, is that okay here? Are there 2 things in the past? Yeah, that's okay. He had gone to see it before what? Before he said he had gone to see it. So he went to see it. He told me. So he said he had gone to see it. That was before he said it, right? Whew. Timing can be tricky, right? But using these tenses can show where things are in the past. He had gone to see it before he said to me, okay? Okay. One of my friends said he went to see it 3 times. And one more thing, he went to see it 3 times. I saw people write for 3 times. He went to see it for 3 times. This is a common mistake. If we're using the phrase 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you do not need the word for, okay? Stop using the word for blah, blah, blah times. One of my friends does that. A lot of my students do it. Don't use the word for if you use the word times. How many times did you watch the movie? Oh, I saw it 3 times. We don't need the word for. How many times did you brush your teeth today? I brushed my teeth 2 times, not for 2 times. We do something for something, not 4 times, okay? Whatever. So that's our story. That's our dialogue. We went to a dance show, put on a great show. Do you think you and Jenny won the competition? I don't know. I hope so. It sounds pretty exciting. Maybe not the best moves, but the most variety, the most different dance styles. If you've never heard of some of these dance styles, you should look them up. They're really cool, really interesting. Maybe people around you have learned them before. Have you ever studied any of these dance styles? My sister did ballet. She did tap. So I watched her dance many, many times. My cousin did Irish step dance. And that's really cool too. She went to Ireland to compete. Amazing. And breakdancing. Wicked cool. Really cool. Lots of amazing moves. And the robot can be really cool or really silly, right? So lots of fun dance styles. Have you ever danced before? What can you dance? Or what have you learned before? So that's pretty much where we are today. Let's wrap up here. Next up, we will be looking at our second dialogue. And in our second dialogue, we're going to go on another adventure. We're going to join another competition. We're going to join a weightlifting competition. You have a negative personality and you see that picture of your friend and you get angry. Oh, I want to show her who's boss. And so you decide, how can you put your angry, crazy energy into something? Where do you go? Well, lift weights. And you get really confident. I'm going to kill everybody. I'm going to win. And maybe things don't go perfect. I don't know. Okay. So let's wrap up here today. I'll stick around for a few more minutes if anyone wants to chat with me. I'll hang out for a few minutes. Send a message to Kyle Moai as usual if you'd like to chat. If not, I will try to find somebody who was in our stream today. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining. And let me know if you have any questions. Wait, one more thing. If you haven't joined, I would love it if people join our cappuccino group. There's this little group on your phone where you can practice your speaking with your classmates. Every day, I'm going to try to send you a question. And it's going to be random. It's going to be about whatever. But that's a chance for you to practice. And I know some of you have signed up, but you haven't spoken in the app. Don't be shy. These are your friends, your classmates, and me. And now is the time to try your best. Try your speaking. So try out our Cappuccino app. I think it could be fun. I'm having fun with it. I know a few people are having fun. So give it a try. Hopefully, I'll see you there tonight. You still have at least another hour before the next cappuccino. So if you have a favorite book or a book you've read recently, talk into Cappuccino and tell us about it, okay? I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night and have a good weekend.